Hello students, welcome to Sairam classes English 1 to 3. I am your teacher Ritu. Today we are going to start the poem School Boy of class 8th written by William Blake. In previous video we had done the summary and hard words of this poem. So today we will start the poem in detail. Before starting the poem, I will tell you about the poet of this poem. William Blake. He was an English poet, painter, and printmaker. He was born on 28 November 1757, Soho, London. Largely unrecognized during his lifetime, Blake is now considered a seminal figure in the history of the poetry and visual arts of the Romantic age. Introduction of the poem. All the stars in the sky shines, but some shine lesser than others. Everyone is intelligent but not at the same level. The implication is that nobody is a dullard. It means the poet is trying to make us understand that all the stars which shine in the sky, they do not shine in the same way. Some shine lesser and some shine more than the others. Every star has a different light. So, in the same way, everyone is intelligent but not at the same level. Their grasping power, their intelligence, their mind, all are different different from each other. It seems that those who are called dullards are those who are not allowed to explore education in the way that will impact their lives and make the best out of it. It seems that the poet is telling us that the person who are called stupid, it means they have not explored the education in the way which can impact their lives and which can have best effect on their lives. It is against this backdrop that William Blake set his pen to duty, using the school as a point of contact to alert the world that the normal classroom education, or you can say formal education, does not suit everyone. It means it is not made for the everyone, and that same, if not majority, will do well if they are educated using a different method. Now we will read the poem in detail. Stanza 1. I love to rise in summer morn, when the birds sing on every tree, the distant haunts man winds his horn, and the skylark sings with me. Oh, what sweet company! Here, the speaker is the boy. He is a young boy in the poem who is very joyful and likes to awake, who wants to get up in the fresh and delightful or happy summer morning. Morn is used for the morning. Further, he is describing the beauty of the summer morning. When he gets up in the morning, it looks him very beautiful. The boy likes the chirping of the birds on every tree. He likes the sound of the chirping of the birds as the bird is skylark there. The sound of horn blown by the hunter from a distant field, and he is also attracted by the sound which is blown by the hunters from a distant field, and a sweet song of skylark. He is missing all these things. Stanza 2. But to go to school in summer morn, oh, it drives all joy away. Under a cruel eye outworn, the little ones spend the day in sign and dismay. Now, the poet is saying here that it is a matter of utmost disappointment. In this paragraph, he is expressing his grief to go to school because he doesn't want to go to school. He wants to enjoy the nature, and it is a matter of sorrow for him. It is a matter of sadness for him that in such a beautiful morning he has to go to school, where actually he wishes to enjoy the delight of the summer. He wants to enjoy the happiness of the summer. He is tired. Now he is saying that he is getting bored. He has become tired and even confused and puzzled under the strict supervision of his teacher, because every time he in the school he is under the supervision of his teacher. Every time his teacher's eye on him, so he cannot do anything what he wants, or he can't leave the class, or he can't leave the school any time without the permission of the teacher. And the phrase outworn refers to the eyes of the teacher. That actually tires the boy here. It means he is saying that he has got bored. He has become tired by the eyes of the teacher, which is actually every time on him. Instead of enjoying the pleasures of summer, the child has to compulsorily attend the school, where he spends his day in boredom and sadness. And now he is saying that instead of getting the pleasure of the summer, he has to it is mandatory to go to the school, because his parents are forcing him to go to school, whether he wants to enjoy the summer but his parents are forcing him to go to school, and somewhere he is it is snatching his freedom, and he is getting bored in school, and now he is feeling sadness to go to school. Stanza 3. Then at times I drooping sit, and spend many as anxious hour. Nor in my book can I take delight, nor sit in learning's bower. Worn through with the dreary shower. The child is expressing his tiredness in this poem, or in this stanza. He is expressing his tiredness. He sits unwillingly in the sea of boredom. Unwillingly means he doesn't want to go to school. He is not having a wish to go to school, but unwillingly, without his wish, he had to go to school, and he has to sit there in the sea of boredom. Why he is said the school is a sea of boredom? Because he is not able to enjoy in the school. The child keeps under control the attack on him by the harsh personality of the teacher. Every time he is under the supervision of the teacher and unnecessary lecture, and he has to sit in that class unwillingly. He has to listen that lectures unwillingly, and his urge for unchecked freedom. And now he is somewhere he is feeling that it is controlling his freedom. He is not free to do his own wish. He has to sit in the class and suffer the boredom in the class. The learning's bower refers to a garden where the child can be taught in an interesting way. Here he is thinking that why I have to sit in the classroom to learn? Why I can't go to the bower of a garden? Why I can't sit there, and why I cannot get education in an interesting way? Only if nature accompanies him instead of the school teacher, and he wants to accompany with the nature only. He doesn't want the company of the school teacher. He wants to sit in the lap of the nature and wants to get education from the nature only. Stanza 4. How can a bird that born for joy sit in cage and sing. How can a child when fears annoy, but droop his tender wing, and forgot his youthful spring? Again, the poet is comparing the child with a bird. But here in this paragraph, he is not comparing the child with a happy bird or the bird which live in a forest. He is comparing that child who is in school and not free in the school. He is comparing to him in a with a caged bird, the bird which is in cage. According to his view, a bird which is born cheerful, which is born playful and fun loving, can never sing sweet song if caged. It means that if a bird which is born to make free, or which is born to enjoy the free nature, enjoy to live in the forest, if she is in the cage and she is not happy there in the cage, so how can she sing, or how can it sing a beautiful or melodious song? If the person, in the same way, if the children is not happy, if the child is not happy in the school, how can he get education there? Similarly, a child, if remained under the umbrella of annoying fear and tension, the distrust of his teacher, can never enjoy the natural instinct of joy and playfulness. Similarly, if the child is in school, he is getting there the fear and tension there, or and he is also suffering the distrust of his teacher, so he is not able to enjoy the natural happiness, natural joy and playfulness. Indeed, a word full of rigid course of discipline will ruthlessly take away the beautiful springs. And the word is full of rigid course of discipline. The word is full of harshness. And if we will force the child to go to school, it means we are snatching his freedom, or we are taking his childhood, we are taking the period of his happy childhood from that child. Stanza 4. O father and mother, if buds are nipped, and if the tender plants are stripped of their joy in the springing day by sorrow and care's dismay. Here the child is complaining to his highest authority. And what is the highest authority here? His highest authority is father and mother. Now he is making a complaint to his father and mother because he thinks that only his father and mother not can make a decision to not to send him to the school. And now he is giving the example of his childhood as being birds and that are being nipped and the blossom that are blowing away. He is telling that if a bird is picked from the garden, picked from the tree, then it cannot be grown into a flower. And same he is saying that if the childhood is snatched away, he cannot be happy in his life. He will be in the ocean of sorrow for forever. And in that sorrow, in that ocean where there is no one to care for. If unhappiness crushes the sensitive plants, beautiful and the newborn birds, summer can never be joyful. Now he is again telling us that if due to the unhappiness or if his childhood is crushed like a sensitive plant, as the plants are very sensitive, so we cannot make them out from the ground and can plant them anywhere. So he is saying that my childhood is also like a tender plant, and if the childhood is snatched from away, if it will be in it will be spent in the boredom of school, then he cannot be happy in his life, like as the without the new bird, summer can never be joyful. कि अगर जो है सब ब्यूटीफुल बर्ड्स नहीं होंगे, फूल नहीं होंगे, तो समर जो है इट कैन नेवर बी जॉयफुल, इट कैन नेवर बी हैप्पी. Stanza 6. How shall the summer arise in joy, or the summer fruits appear? Or how shall we gather what grief destroy, or blast the mellowing ear, when the blast of winter appears? Now the poet is telling us, if care and concern rule over the plants, flowers, birds, such a summer will be dry and will bear no fruit. If we will make extra care, if we will make pressure of the care and concern over the plants, then in that summer will be dry and no fruit will be there in that summer. The child inquires his parents as to how they can win back what pains and sadness has destroyed. Now he is making again an inquiry to his parents, or he is asking to his parents that can they restore the things which are destroyed by the pain or destroyed by the sadness, कि क्या वो उन चीज़ों को वापस ला सकते हैं जिन चीज़ों को पेन ने या सैडनेस ने डिस्ट्रॉय कर दिया है. इफ़ द प्लांट पैरिश or dry up due to the pain, due to the sorrow, no fruit will be there in the season of autumn. And again he is telling that if the plants dry up, अगर जो plants हैं they are not happy, if they dry up by the sorrow, then no fruit will be there in the season of autumn. This implies that if childhood pleasure and joys are restricted, that if the childhood pleasure and joys which are controlled by the person, controlled by the teacher or controlled by the parents, one has to be sure that the adult life will be absolutely dry and unproductive. कि जो उस बच्चे की जो आने वाली लाइफ है it will also be dry and unproductive. वो भी ड्राई होगी और अनप्रोडक्टिव होगी, बिकॉज क्योंकि हम जब बड़े हो जाते हैं तो समवेयर इट गिव्स अ प्लीजर what we had done in the childhood. So if the person has not enjoyed in the childhood, then how he could share his experience with in his life, or how could he store his good memories of the childhood if he has taken a sorrow or unpleasant stories in the childhood, if it is controlled by in the childhood, that he is not having a peaceful life in his coming life. Now we will continue with the question of the poem. Here these questions are on page number 85, working with the poem. Question number 1. Find 3 or 4 words or phrases in stanza 1 that reflect the child's happiness and joy. And what are the 3 or 4 words or the phrases? The words or the phrases that reflects a child's happiness are the songs of birds and the skylark and the sound of hunter's horn. So these are the things which reflect the child happiness and joy in stanza 1. Question number 2. In stanza 2, the mood change. Which word or phrases reflect the change mood? Your answer is, what is the poet asking? In stanza 2, the mood change, and which word or phrases reflect the change mood? The word or the phrases reflect the child's mood are drives all joy away. B is cruel-eyed, a cruel eye outward of the teacher, sign and dismay. So these are the things or the words, or you can say phrases, which shows the changed mood. Question number 3. In this question you have to choose the correct option. A cruel eye outward in stanza 2 refers to. First option is the classroom which is shabby or noisy. Second option, the lessons which are difficult or uninteresting. Third option, the dull, uninspiring life at school with lots of work and no play. So here is the correct option is option third. Question number 4. nor certain learning's bower, worn through with the dreary shower. Which of the following is a close paraphrase of the lines above? Nor set in a learning's bower, worn through. So, what is the close paraphrase of these lines which are given above? Nor can I sit in a roofless glass room when it is raining. Nor can I learn anything at school through teachers go on lecturing and explaining. Number 3, nor can I sit in the school garden for fear of getting wet in the rain. So according to the line, the correct option is option number 2. Option number 2 is the correct option here. Now, these are the questions you have to do in your homework. I hope after listening the poem explanation, you will be able to write the answer of these questions. So, you can write the answer of these questions in your notebook or can give the answer in the comment section. And if you like the video, then please like and subscribe to the channel. Until then, stay home, stay safe.